or a HTTPS protocol. But when you're trying to use an application server not only has a servlet container, but it also has an EJB container. Any code you're trying to put on the application server, it can successfully process that code. Apart from that, okay, your application server has also an advantage of protocol independence. Okay, your application server has also an advantage of protocol independency. So if you're using an application server, okay, the application server has an advantage of a protocol independency. It has an advantage, okay, of processing any code related to the EJB. Okay, it has an advantage of a security management. It has an advantage of a messaging. Using the application server, we can have a data source which will help us to communicate to the database. Using the application server, we can control the transactions. Okay, let's say that you inserted your ATM card inside the ATM machine and you're withdrawing the money of, let's say, $300. Surely there was some problem, you couldn't get the money. So the scenario should not be like that. Okay, the money will be deducted. Okay, the transaction should roll back, and when you're trying to click on the account balance, it should show you the balance from where the $300 hasn't been deducted. So that kind of a control on the transaction is possible with the application server. So if you see a web server, when compared to the web server, these are the few differences we have in the application server. Apart from that, we have multiple other advantages in the application server. Am I clear, Sushma? Any questions? Sushma or Krishna?
Yeah, I'm still trying to understand, I mean, differentiate between web server and application server. So what you're saying is both are same, but there are some advantages for application server compared to web server. Is that right?
Yeah, it's something like, I'll give a simple example. It's something like your, let's take example of your, let's say Nokia E25, we have got one mobile for, or let's say Nokia iPhone 3G. You have an iPhone 3G and the latest one is an iPhone 5C. If you see a 3G, okay, the 3G has some set of options, set of advantages. But still people will go with an iPhone 5C. Why? Because in an iPhone 5C, the advantages which are there in the iPhone 5C, like the bigger screen, still more, the bit-wise is little bit less when compared to the iPhone 3G. It supports the different networks. It has some additional features which aren't seen in the 3G that are available in the 5C, mainly for the office purpose. Okay, so that kind of an advantage are seen in the iPhone 5C, because of which people use that. Similarly, web server and an application server, both are meant to process the static and the dynamic content. Okay, static is nothing but your images, okay, your CSS file, your text data. Your dynamic is nothing but the latest or the updated information. So if you see a web server, when compared it with an application server, the web server has, okay, the application server has an advantages like a transaction management, okay, security, messaging system, okay, JMDI, okay, like this couple of other advantages are seen above your web server in the application server. Clear?
Yeah, got it. And how are these related to WebSphere? I mean,
because
how are these web servers or application servers?
The reason why we talked about the web server or an application server is, okay, if you see my WebSphere, what is a WebSphere? WebSphere is an application server. That's the reason we call the WebSphere as WebSphere application server. It's an application server coming from the IBM family. So when I'm saying that, okay, I'm a WebSphere application server admin, I have to first of all know what is meant by an application server. Okay, how does the application server, okay, evolve? So that's the reason we talked about the web server, followed by the application server, followed by what is an WebSphere application server. Clear?
Yeah.
Krishna or Sushma or anyone, any questions on the yesterday session?
So I have a question, this Asif.
Yeah,
so basically WebSphere, if any connection request came, WebSphere received the connection, and I'd also do the load balancing and forward those requests to application server. So application server depends, it's running whether Gmail, Hotmail or any banking, online banking application. So it processes the application. So I think that is a difference between web server and application server, because web server receives the connection and do the load balancing.
Okay, let me not talk about the load balancing and the other features as of now. If you can hold your question till clusters or the web server, I can. Okay.
Okay, sure.
Okay, as of now, just say, assume that web server, okay, is a protocol dependent server. My web server is an HTTP protocol dependent server. My application server is a protocol independent server. The details about how we can use a web server, what are the different web servers that are available, okay, but the concept of load balancing, etc. I'll talk while trying to talk about we have, as I shown you on the demo, during the demo, they have a dedicated slide, okay, for the web server. They will talk in detail about the web server. Okay. So anyone, any more questions? Okay. Silence, I'll take it as a no. So coming back to my today's session, okay, which is related to the terminology and the topology used in the WebSphere application server. Before I talk about that, since we have a complete house today, I want to make a small request. Is it feasible for you all people to prepone the session by 30 minutes?
5:30.
I'm not sure about the conversion because a couple of you are there in the EST, couple of you there in the CST, so PST, all the time zones, people are from the different time zones. Okay, whatever the time we started today, can we prepone? Okay, can we start 30 minutes early? Would it be fine with every one of you?
Yeah, 30 minutes early is fine. 8:30 for me, Toronto time 8:30 is good.
Okay. So Asif is okay, Nasima is okay, Krishna is okay. How about Sushma and Jay?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Shiva. Actually, this is my demo session, I thought. So once after this session, I can. Yeah.
Yeah. Once you are okay with the session, then if you're, let's say that assuming that you're okay with the demo, okay, so can you be available 30 minutes before?
Yeah, that is fine with me.
Okay, cool. So since everyone is fine with the 30 minutes preponement of the session, I'll ask the SVR people to send an updated note to all of you.
I'll be, Siva, I'll be in and out because I'll be still at the work, so I'll be back and forth.
Okay, so you're okay, but sometimes you might be delayed. Am I correct?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'll log in on time, but I won't be able to hear you all the time, but that's okay. I'll be watching the recording, so anyway.
Yeah, cool. So actually, SVR people are doing the recording. So by any chance, if you're delayed for any reason by a few minutes, we can refer to the recording, and any questions you have, we can discuss in detail in our next session.
So for the recording link, you will send us later after the session is finished?
Actually, unfortunately, I'm not doing the recording. So SVR people are doing the recording. So you can ask them, probably Sai or Previn is a point of contact, I think, for you all. Okay. So you can ask them, they'll be uploading it probably in the Google Drive or in the Dropbox. From there, you can download the link. Or you can ask them to send it to you once on every day after the session is completed. Okay. Or else I'll have a word with them and ask them to share a copy to you.
Yeah, there's a link in the email. It should be sitting for yesterday's session.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure about that. But if you guys want, I'll ask them to send a link daily after the session is done.
Yeah, I have the link, Siva, so he's already there.
Oh, it's already there? Cool.
Yeah, from
so
yesterday.
They sent the link.
Oh, they send the link? Cool. Excellent. Okay. So, any chance if any of you haven't got that, okay, let me know. Or you can ask the SVR people, they'll send the link to you all. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. So good. So since we have all the conclusions, let me start our new topic here for today, okay, which is the start of your WebSphere application server called as terminology and the topology used in the WebSphere. Okay, let's say that for the first time I landed in the US. Okay, let's say that I have a plan to come and visit US. So when I have a plan to come and visit the US for some business reason or for some personal reasons, okay. In India, if you see here, we can wear any kind of a dresses, we can wear any kind of shoes, okay. We can have our own way of freedom of dressing. But if you see in US, okay, certain kind of a dresses, certain kind of a glass, okay, certain kind of an material you are trying to use that symbolizes your personality, okay. For example, a boy wearing a pink color shirt, okay, has a different convention. A person wearing a skin color jeans, okay, has got a different convention. Okay, so if you see here in US, okay, whenever I'm trying to go to US, it's very important for me to understand what is the etiquette that people are following there. From the food point of view, from the dressing point of view, from the lifestyle point of view, it's very important. Because in India, I can wear a skin-tight shirt, okay, I can wear a skin-tight jeans, I can wear a shaded glasses, no problem. But in US, okay, everything what you're trying to wear has got a different personality. So it's very important that before we travel to US, okay, we get to understand this. Similarly, you want to learn the WebSphere application server. When you want to learn the WebSphere application server, how do we learn any product? The best way to learn any product is to install the product. So before you try to install the product and learn the product, it's very important that you understand certain terms, you understand certain topology. So for that reason, we'll first start a WebSphere application server with the understanding of the terminology. If you see inside the WebSphere application server, wherever you're going in the WebSphere application server, certain terms like cell, node, node agent, server, and profile. Wherever you go in the WebSphere application server, these are the 5 important terms you'll be seeing across the WebSphere. Without these 5 terms, you can never imagine the WebSphere application server, even for the installation point of view also. So first thing what we'll try to do is that we'll first of all understand what does each and every term mean. For example, if you see the term called as a cell, how we can understand the cell? A cell is nothing but, it's a basic administration unit of WebSphere application server. Okay, what is a cell? How we can understand the term cell? A cell is nothing but, it's a basic administration unit of WebSphere application server. What do I mean by that? I mean to say that whenever you are trying to interact with the WebSphere application server, for any reason it might be, the first layer will be interacting with is the cell. I have a problem with my internet banking with the Citibank. So what do? I call up to the customer care support, okay, to understand what is the problem. So my customer care people are my cell. Clear? What is a cell? A cell is nothing but it's a basic administration unit of the WebSphere application server. Which means to say that for any reason when I'm trying to communicate to the WebSphere application server, the first layer I'll be interacting is the cell. Clear everyone? Anyone any questions?
No.
Krishna, you have a question?
Yeah.
Yeah, Krishna.
Class lo unna. Class.
Small request, yes. Okay. By any chance, if you don't have any questions, please go on mute, or if you are there in any conversation also, please go on mute. Okay. So silence, I'll assume no questions from anyone. Okay. Let me go to the next one. Okay. Cell, as I said, is nothing but it's a basic administration unit of the WebSphere application server. Okay, which means to say that whatever the reason, when I'm trying to communicate to the WebSphere, the first layer I'll be seeing is a cell. Then what about the node? How I can understand the node? A node is also a basic administration okay, I'll write the WebSphere application server as WAS. Okay, which is a very popular term. Okay, so if you see the node, what is a node? Okay, a node is nothing but it's a basic administration unit of WebSphere application server running inside the cell. Okay, that provides the runtime environment for your server. Clear? What is a cell? Cell is a basic administration unit. Understand that. But what is a node? Node is also a basic administration unit of WebSphere which is present inside the cell, and that provides a runtime environment for your server. What do I mean by that? We'll try to break the definition into two parts. The first one is the running inside the cell. The second one is the runtime environment for your server. If you see the first part, what is the first part is saying? The first part is saying that node is the one that is present inside the WebSphere. WebSphere application server, okay, which provides a runtime environment. Okay, I have a cell that is the first layer. Inside that particular first layer, I have another layer called as a node. Okay, a node is the one that is present inside the cell of your WebSphere application server. What does the term runtime environment means? Okay, for example, I hope everyone knows a little bit of Java. Okay, so whenever I'm trying to run any Java program, okay, or forget about the Java program, let's take a simple common example. I bought a new laptop. Okay, when I bought a new laptop, okay, by default, okay, our laptops will not have any operating system, Windows or Unix or Linux. Okay, nothing of that sort will be there. By default, from the manufacturer, okay, the default thing that will be present is a DOS. So when you want to install the Windows 8 or Windows 7 or Linux inside there, we need to have a supporting DOS prompt inside that. So without a DOS prompt, okay, without the availability of the DOS prompt, you can never install Windows 7 or a Windows 8. So what is the DOS operating system giving the laptop? The DOS operating system is providing the runtime environment to install your Windows 7 or a Windows 8. Similarly, if you see the node is something that is present inside the cell and it provides a runtime environment for your server. What does the runtime environment mean? Some configuration information, some security information, some startup information, whatever the things that are needed for the server to be started, all that info will be provided by the node. So, node can be defined as it's a basic administration unit which is present inside the cell and that provides a runtime environment for your server. That's another reason in a WebSphere application server, whenever you want to start the server, without starting the node, we will never start the server. Why? Because node provides a runtime environment. Okay, whatever the information that is needed for a server to be started, okay, all that info is provided by the node. Clear? Anyone, any questions on what is meant by cell or what is meant by node?
Basically, node is just like a BIOS EEPROM type of program, like it always load and interact with your OS. Kind of.
Okay. To some extent, from the programming terminology, we can assume it in that way. Or let me make it more clear to you all. Okay. Let's say that I go back to a previous example. I have a problem with my internet banking, and I call up to the customer care people. Okay. My customer care people are my first level of support. So my customer care people are my cell. The customer care people, the customer care executive, I can refer to them as a cell. Some reason they were trying to do some maintenance, they were trying to do their R&D, okay, but they couldn't resolve that issue. So what happens? They take the assistance, they take the help of the next level of support, L2 support, level 2 support. So level 2 support, what do? They do some R&D, they try to fix that issue, okay, and they come back to the L1 or the customer care people that, hey guys, the issue got resolved, update to the customer. So the issue which couldn't be resolved by them, by the customer care executive, that issue got resolved by the level 2 support. So the level 2 people, okay, without raising their hands saying that we can't resolve them, they provided the resolution. They provided the runtime environment, okay, to the customer care people so that they can come back to the customer and say that, hey customer, your issue got resolved. So the level 2 people are providing the runtime environment. What are the things that are needed to help the customer, to satisfy the customer, that are being provided to the level 1 support or the customer care executive by the level 2 people. So the level 2 people are called as a node. Okay, because node is the one that provides the runtime for your server. Your applications, your configurations, you target it inside the server. So if the server is not available, your applications, your configurations, your things that you are trying to put on the server, it will not be available. So For the server to be available up and running, the necessary information that is needed, that is provided by the node. You join the company as a WebSphere admin. When you join the company as a WebSphere admin, if you doesn't know anything of the WebSphere, you'll be completely handicapped. The purpose of attending a training is to equip with the necessary information for you to work as a successful WebSphere admin. Similarly, for the server to be started up, whatever the information is there, it could be a configuration, it could be a startup, it could be a security, it could be any information that is provided by the node. Clear?
Yeah.
Anyone any questions? Krishna, Mehboob, Sushma, Nasima, Jai, anyone any questions? Okay, silence, I'll assume it's clear. Okay, the next one we have is the node agent. What is a node agent? From the name itself, you can make a meaning. A node agent is nothing but it's an agent to your node. Okay, for example, let's say that I've stayed in US for around 20 years. Okay, I've earned a lot of money and I'm coming back to India. So when I'm coming back to India, I thought of starting up an IT company. So I went to one beautiful location in Hyderabad, India. Okay, and I've seen that there's a place where I can start my IT company. So I go to the IT Minister of AP and I said them that first I'm planning to start an IT company which generates a revenue of around 200 crores, and this is the project plan, this is the information, and it provides an employment minimum of 100 people directly and few other people indirectly. So what does the IT Minister does? He says he listens to all that conversation, the good presentation, everything, and he says that Shiva, we got a meeting today with the CM. Can you come and meet me on my next appointment day? So I go to his secretary and say that, hey, can you help me with an appointment? I take an appointment from him and I come back on the next day wearing a good suit with a Mercedes car, and again go to the IT Minister and again I repeat the story. He again says to me that, okay, sure, today I'm very much occupied with the hustle and bustle that is going around with the political conditions. Why don't you come and meet me a little bit later? So again on the third time also I take an appointment, come back in the good, okay, come back to the IT Minister and again I repeat the story. Third time also he makes an excuse and says that, okay, sure, can you come and meet me on the next day? Now what I have to do, like a foolish, I should not ask for an appointment. I go to the secretary and ask him, what is the concern? The IT Minister says that, okay, give me 10%, IT Minister, to the IT Minister, give the 10% of the project cost and give me 5 to 10 lakhs. Within 5 minutes, I'll get your project approval. So what do? Being in India, I'll pay that money to the secretary and to the minister, and my work is getting completed. So what is the moral of the story? Any work that has to be done by the minister, anything where I'm trying to directly communicate to the minister, the work is not getting completed. But any communication, any request or the response from the minister, when it is being done to his secretary, the work is getting completed. Similarly, is the case of the node agent. Whatever the communication you are trying to do to the node, or whatever the communication that is coming out of the node, okay, it is done through the node agent. The node agent is the one that will allow the communication to the node, or that will allow the communication from the node. So it acts like a node, it acts like an agent to your node. So it is called as a node agent. Clear, everyone? Anyone, any questions? Am I running fast or am I clear? Clear? All clear?
Yes, Shiva. Let's go.
Okay, cool. So guys, if you have a question, don't feel hesitant. It's just the basic things we are trying to discuss. Okay? If you're not comfortable, if something is not making up clear, please pause me up. You've got each and every right to pause me up. Okay? Okay. Silence, I'll assume it's clear. Okay. The next one we have got is a server. What is a server? How I can understand the concept of a server? Very simple. A server is nothing but, okay, it's an instance of my WebSphere application server running as a Java process inside the JVM. Okay, how I can define the term server? What is a server? A server is nothing but It's an instance of your WebSphere application server running as a Java program inside the JVM. What do I mean by that? Again, we'll try to understand the definition by breaking into two parts. Okay? If you see the first part, instance of WebSphere application server. So if you see my WebSphere application server, the child to that, the instance to the WebSphere is nothing but the server. Whatever the features, okay, let's say that, okay, I'm a child to my parents, okay, so whatever the wealth, whatever the money, whatever the property my parents have, okay, I'm a direct descendant or I'm a legal head to that. Similarly, if you see the server, how I'm defining the server, I'm saying the server as an instance of WebSphere application server. That means to say that whatever the features, whatever the advantages that are there in the WebSphere application server that are 100% seen in the server. Why? Because the server is an instance to the WebSphere. The server is a child to the WebSphere application server. Whatever the second part, it is running as a Java program. Okay, what do I mean by that? Since your WebSphere application server is a Java JDW based application. What is a WebSphere? It's a software which is responsible to do some XYZ work. But when I'm saying that my WebSphere application server is a software, it is developed using some programming language. So the programming language that was used majorly for the development of the WebSphere was the Java JDW. So when I'm saying that my WebSphere application server is a Java JDW based programming application, automatically the server, which is an instance of the WebSphere, will be a Java program. When I'm saying that my WebSphere instance is a Java program, automatically to run this particular Java program, I need a JVM. Okay, I need a Java runtime environment. That's the reason we use the JVM. Clear? So what is the definition of a server? A server is nothing but it's an instance of your WebSphere application server running as a Java program inside the JVM. Okay, so since my WebSphere application server is a Java JDW based application, since it's being developed using the Java JDW based programming language, so my server will also be a Java program. When I'm saying that my server is a Java program, okay, I need a Java runtime environment. The Java runtime environment is provided by the JVM. So that's the reason I say that my server is a Java JDW based my server is an instance of WebSphere application server that runs as a Java JDW program inside the JVM. Okay, and that's another reason in a real-time environment, whenever you want to find out what is the ID of my server, my WebSphere application server, people use a command called as an, okay, PS is nothing but processes. In the list of processes available running in your machine, you are trying to search. Grep is nothing but search. You are trying to search for a process, okay, related to the Java. Why people use this particular command? Because your WebSphere application server is also a Java program. In a Windows environment, if you want to find out the process ID, how do you find out the process ID? You go to the processes, okay, from this processes, sorry, someone had a question? Okay, silence, I'll assume no.
Yes,
okay.
this is my book, Shiva.
Yeah.
Shiva, this is my book. Actually, I'm trying to understand this JVM. Would you define this JVM related to?
See, JVM is nothing but Java virtual machine. It's just a machine. For example, if you go back to the example of a juicer, okay, I put my fruits inside my juicer. What does the juicer machine will do? It will grind that and it will give me the liquid format of the food which I'm trying to keep it. Similarly, JVM is also a machine which when you put the Java code inside that, it runs that particular Java code, okay, and it converts that particular Java code into a format which your machine can understand. Okay, your JVM in a layman terminology is just a simple machine which runs the Java program. Clear?
There's any relation between JVM and the node?
JVM and
Node?
Node and JVM, there's no relationship directly, but the node, as I said, is nothing but it provides a runtime environment for your server to be started. So whenever you're trying to start the server, the node has to be available up and running. So other than that relationship, there's no relationship between the JVM and the server and the node. Clear? Did I answer your question?
He's trying to ask if JVM has any contribution in the runtime environment of a server, or they are...
No, nothing of that kind. Okay, you install the WebSphere application server, the Java is available, your WebSphere application server uses that particular Java. We don't do any explicit configuration for the JVM with reference to the server or with reference to the node. Clear? If you take an apple juice, if I want to have an apple juice, I just put the apples inside the juicer. If I want to have a Mosambie, I'll put the Mosambie inside the juicer. Okay? For a Mosambie, I don't try to put another blade. For the apples, I don't put another blade. Inside the same one, I try to keep all my fruits. Same here also. Okay? We don't do any explicit configuration for each and every node or a server. Okay? Forget about the JVM. It's just a machine to run your Java program. Am I clear?
Yes.
Anyone, any questions? Jay, Krishna, Mehboob, Nasima, Sushma, you guys have any question?
I understand, Siva, but if you have any graphical go along with the wording, it might simplify for all of them.
Okay. If you can help me with some more time, okay, probably in tomorrow's session I can get you that.
Sure.
So I have one question, Siva. So how is this SQL server is connected to this WebSphere? Can you talk about
SQL server connected to the WebSphere. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll give a high-level definition. I'll not talk in detail because it might be confusing to the other people. If you see the database, SQL is nothing but SQL is nothing but it's a database. Okay. To communicate with the database, okay, why I use a database? My programmer uses a database. Okay, my programmer who works with the Java JDBC application programming, he interacts with the database to store some information or to get that information. Rather than the developer interacts with the database directly, I use a middle agent called as a WebSphere application server, and inside the application server called as a WebSphere application server, we have something called as a data source. Okay, so rather than the programmer go and talk to the database directly, okay, I ask the programmer to use the data source present inside my WebSphere and then talk to the database. Why I ask him to do it in that way? What are the advantages? I'll talk while trying to talk about the data sources used in the WebSphere application server. Clear?
Yeah, clear. Yeah.
Anyone? Any more questions?
I think
Sorry,
down the road we will get, once you do the installation, we will learn about the data source, correct?
After we are done with the installation, after we are done talking about system administration management, after we are done talking about the deployments, after we are done talking about the clusters, before we start the web service, we'll talk about the data sources.
Okay.
Clear?
Yeah,
Yes,
Shiva.
please.
Yeah, Shiva. I have a quick question. I mean, not related to these topics, but I'm not sure whether this was discussed in yesterday's class or not. Can you give some examples where this WebSphere application server will be used? Some real-time examples.
The best example for the WebSphere application server is the Morgan Stanley. The Morgan Stanley, the Wells Fargo, okay, companies like JP Morgan Chase, okay, most of the companies, okay, uses this WebSphere application server. Exactly where the application server is used, I'll give an example. Okay, application server, this wasn't discussed yesterday, first one. If you see the application server, the concept of application server comes into the picture for the basic reason to have an application server. Okay, WebSphere application server. What is a WebSphere application server? End of the day, it's in server. The basic reason why we need a server is to process the Java code. Okay? The basic purpose why I need a WebSphere application server is nothing but to process the Java code. So anyway, I have to, anyway or across any place, okay, for any situation, I need to process the Java code, I need a server. Obvious question comes, why I need to process a Java code? Because if you see the program, like any Java program if you see here, they are being written using some programming language. What is this programming language? It's a alphanumeric language. Perfectly fine. We are human beings, okay, we can understand that alphanumeric language. But if you see the computers, if you see the machines, they are not someone like us. They understand only one language called as a binary format. So anything you are trying to communicate to the machines, end of the day, you have to communicate to them in the binary format. So the WebSphere application server responsibility is to convert that particular programs that are given by the developer into the machine understandable format. So across anywhere, wherever you are seeing the requirement to convert that particular programming language into the machine understandable format, we use a WebSphere application server. Another question might come up, why we have to use the WebSphere application server? We have the application servers like WebLogic, we have the application servers like JBoss, we have the application servers like Oracle application server. Why only the WebSphere? To answer that question, we have to know what is the client requirement. For example, if you see here, some of us are diehard fans of Rajnikant, some of us are diehard fans of Kamal, some of them are diehard fans of Shah Rukh. Why we like only Shah Rukh Khan? Okay, why we like only one particular actor? Depends upon our taste, depends upon the XYZ reason. Similarly, if you want to say that why we have to use the WebSphere application server, first thing we have to know is what is that particular client? What is the preference of that particular client? What is the other components that are present in the client architecture? Okay, what is the cost that the client can put on? Okay, what is the overall purpose of that particular application? So many factors come into the picture on deciding why only the WebSphere application server. Clear, Sushma? Did I answer your question?
Yeah, can you provide some real-time examples where this WebSphere application server has to be used?
I think, Shiva, I think because we use actually, I work for a bank, we use for the online banking actually, WebSphere.
I think her context is that where exactly used in the online banking. Am I correct, Sushma?
Yeah, suppose let's take online banking. So, yeah.
Application servers is used for I think for the deployment. What I believe is for the deployment, any customer's requirement. There's an end user who is the end user and they want to deploy that any application to the web browser and they use the application server.
I'll give a simple example, Sushma. Probably that might answer your question. See, the concept of application server, if you see here, okay, the application server, okay, is nothing but it's a server to process the code. Okay, it's something like I'm hiring a translator. Why I hire a translator? Okay, so that let's say I'm going to a China or a Japanese country, I can't speak their language, and if they speak English also, I'm hearing a little bit of echo. Yeah. Yes, if you're not having any questions, can you go on mute? Thanks everyone. Yeah, it's something like your application server is like a translator. Okay, let's say that I'm going to a country like China or Japan where people can't understand our language. Even though they speak in English, still I can't understand them because the slang is completely different. So what do? I hire a translator. That fellow, what he does is that whatever I'm trying to communicate, that fellow will communicate in their language, and whatever the other person is trying to communicate, he'll convert into the format which I can understand. Exactly the same of your WebSphere application server. For example, if you see an online banking, what is an online banking? For example, let's say that I open an HDFC online banking. Okay, let's say that I'm opening the HDFC or an online SVRbank.com. Okay, when I open the online SBI.com, inside this, okay, I have a personal banking. Let's say that I'm opening the personal banking. Okay, I clicked on this login option. So when I'm trying to give my user ID and password, and when I'm trying to give the password and click on the enter button, okay, what you're saying that, hey guys, this is my user ID and my password. Take this information, try to validate and authorize my information and give me the appropriate content. When I'm logging into the internet banking with the ID code as in Shiva, okay, and when I'm trying to see the information related to the Shiva has to be present. It should not display the other information. That means to say that in the background, someone has to authenticate my information, my user ID and password, and someone has to display only those information that is related to me. When I'm logging into the online SVR.com, okay, when I'm trying to log in with my ID and with my password, it has to validate my ID and password, and after it is successfully validating my information, the account related to the Shiva has to be displayed. The account related to the ABC or the XYZ person should not be displayed. So someone in the background has to authenticate and authorize that. That can be done with the WebSphere. Clear?
Yeah. Yeah, clear, Shiva. And one more question I have is, so these web application server, WebSphere application server, this will be used for the online transactions.
For online transactions, to execute any of your Java code, we use the WebSphere.
Okay.
Because I assume that online SVR.com, it's an application. In a layman terminology, it's an application. So this application has to be developed by some programming language. Assuming that it's an application developed using the Java J2EE, okay, I can say that I can use the WebSphere. So wherever the concept of Java is being present, I can use the WebSphere there.
Okay, so it is not just the online transactions, but for any applications that uses Java, this WebSphere application server will be used even within the organization. Is that right?
Perfect. Perfect.
Okay. Okay.
Can we also use it for Hotmail, Gmail?
Technically, I'm not sure how they implement it, but assume that Hotmail or the Gmail is being developed using the Java, then we can use then WebSphere applications that we can use. I'm not saying we must. Okay, try to understand the board. I'm saying we can. I didn't say we must. Okay, it's a simple scenario. I want to buy a car. Okay, you say that Maruti is very good. Someone says that Honda is good. Someone says that Volkswagen is good. But which one I buy it? Again, it depends upon my constraints like a budget. Okay, the likes, the dislikes, the features, etc. So wherever the Java, any application that is being developed using the Java J2EE, we can use the WebSphere. Clear? Asif and Sushma, am I clear?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Anyone, any more questions? End of the day, assume your application server called as a WebSphere, it's nothing but it's a translator. I say something to the computer. Okay, see, I'll give a simple example. Okay, probably I'm trying to extend the topic. Just if you feel it in that way, let me know. If I'm trying to overload you all with much information, let me know. But I'll give a simple scenario. Let's say that in a company, we have a development team, we have a testing team, we have an infrastructure team. Infrastructure team are nothing but the operating system admins, application server admins, okay, database admins, like that. So developer is there who develops that particular code. He develops that particular code, testing team does the testing, and they validate that, hey, this application is working as per the expectation. So what they do, okay, they put this application in some server. What is a server? The server is present in some data center. Anyone heard about the data center concept?
Yes.
Okay. Nasim, how about Sushma, Mehboob, Krishna and Jay?
Yeah.
Asif?
Yep.
You all heard about the data center?
Right.
Yes.
Okay, good. Yes. What is a data center? Data center is a location where all our server related configurations are present. I have a movie in my laptop. Okay? Why I keep the movie in my laptop or in my hard disk? Okay? So, because I can't play a movie inside my TV. Okay? My television set doesn't support that. So what do? I go to the laptop or my computer. Okay? I store my movie inside that because my laptop or my desktop, okay, gives me a flexibility, gives me a software called as an VLC player or a real player using which I can run that particular movie. I can watch that particular movie. In a magnified form of this one is the data center. Data center is the location where we have all the server related configurations. So this data center, okay, if you see my laptop is not 24/7 available, because if it's not needed, after my session is done, what do? I shut down my laptop and I go. Okay, but assume that my laptop has to be 24/7 available. Either there is a power cut, either there is a network breakdown, either there is any network calamity. Okay, whatever the things happen, the movie which is there inside my laptop has to be 24/7 available to all the people in the network. So what do? I put this movie, okay, I try to ensure that put some configurations, put some routers, put some UPS, okay, put some XYZ components so that this laptop is 24/7 available. The same thing you achieve inside a data center. A data center is nothing but it's a magnified form of your computer, okay, which gives a guarantee that 24/7 that machine will be available up and running. So 24/7 when the machine is available up and running, you can comfortably access the application. Clear? That is the concept of data center. So inside a data center, when we install the WebSphere application server, whatever the code that is being developed by the developer, when you put it inside the data center where the application server called the WebSphere is installed, 24/7 anyone, Gmail, Hotmail, Ymail, whatever the mail, whatever the Facebook, whatever the Orkut you have got, they put it inside the data center so that it will be accessible round the clock 24/7. Still there's some other constraints, some other configuration, some other setup, but this is a magnified form of the scenario of the server. Am I clear? I think I might have overloaded you all with much information. Okay, if that's the case, just forget about that. Just understand what is a server, what is a WebSphere. Anyone, any questions on that?
Yeah, Shiva, this is Sushma. I have a question. So what you are saying is the Facebook, Yahoo, Gmail, etc. These are applications, right?
Yes.
Not the servers. These are applications, but these will be kept on the data center to keep those running 24/7. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah. This Facebook.com or an Orkut.com or any of the sites which are trying to visit on the internet. These are some applications. These are applications developed using some programming language. Okay, when I'm saying that these are the applications developed using some programming language, okay, we need some interface to convert into a format my machine can understand. You're saying that WebSphere application server is this, WebSphere application server is that. Understanding, I'm not understanding what is the WebSphere. Tomorrow when I'm going and sitting in the project, in the company, when a task related to the WebSphere comes, understanding, I'm not understanding that, okay, I can't perform. So what do? I quickly go for a training. What the trainer will do? The trainer will say that, hey, WebSphere is this, WebSphere is this, WebSphere is this. I understand the WebSphere. Now, if anyone asks me any questions on the WebSphere, I can reply back to them with a confidence. Similarly, if you see the application, okay, like a Facebook or an Orkut or a Gmail or an SBA or a banking or anything, any internet-based application if you see here, or any intranet-based application if you see here, any application will be developed with some programming languages. Okay, so what they do inside that, using that some XYZ programming language, inner context it is a Java. So we try to so what we do when we develop that particular application using the Java JDW programming language, what we do as part of the programs, when I'm saying that I'm writing a program which is an application, what do? I say that, hey, these are the instructions that you have to follow. Okay, let's say that I'm trying to develop an application, an internet-based application to do the summation of A plus B plus C. Any customer comes and tries to do the summation of 3 numbers, he can use my application. So what I have to do? I have to write a logic for that. So I wrote a logic, okay, which does a summation of 3 numbers. So this particular program or the application is being developed with a Java JDW. So once I develop this particular code, okay, this particular logic, I put it inside my WebSphere application server. What is the responsibility of the WebSphere application server now? It has to understand what is the logic is implemented. So what it does, it tries to convert the programming language into the format it can understand, which is nothing but the binary format. So once it understands what is the logic present inside that, anyone coming in asking to do the summation of 3 numbers, simply it will execute that particular code and it will give me the output. Okay, so what is the purpose of having a server here? The purpose of having a server here is to convert that particular programming language into the format it can understand, the machine can understand. Okay, I'm trying to hire a translator. Why do I hire a translator? So that, okay, whatever that fellow is trying to say, I understand that, and accordingly I'll make a call whether to do a business with a Chinese person or whether to call off that particular business. Clear?
Yeah.
Anyone, any questions? Okay, silence, I'll assume no questions from anyone. Okay, since no questions, okay, let me talk about the last terminology called as a profile. What is a profile? A profile is nothing but it's a logical grouping of your WebSphere application server resources. Okay, what is a profile? Profile is nothing but it's a logical grouping of your WebSphere application server resources. What are the WebSphere application server resources? The WebSphere application server resources are my cell, my node agent, and my server. Okay, so all this WebSphere application server resources, when I'm trying to combine them so that it makes a meaningful form, that is nothing but, okay, that is nothing but a profile. I'm trying to construct a building. What do? I construct the ground floor first, I construct the first floor, then I construct the second floor. Then only I can call it as a perfect building. I can't construct the first floor first, then the ground floor. That doesn't make a logical combination. Okay, I want to go to US. I'll not go to US and then apply for a visa. I apply for a visa, okay, I get a ticket, then I try to travel to US. It's not in the vice versa. Clear? So similarly, I have the WebSphere application server resources. I try to combine them, all of them, so that it makes a logical grouping. The name given to that particular logical group is nothing but your profile. In a company, I try to combine the resources related to the development, related to the infrastructure, related to the networking, related to the management. I then call that one as a project. The name given to the logical combination of different teams, development, sysadmins, okay, testing, okay, administration. I try to combine all of them for a particular project. Then I call them as a team belonging to ABC project. Similarly, I have the WebSphere application server resources. I'm trying to combine them, all of them, and trying to form a logical group. The name given to the logical grouping of the WebSphere application server resources is nothing but your profile. Am I clear? Anyone, any questions?
Can you explain the node agent, Shiva, just quickly?
Yeah. Okay, node agent is nothing but, okay, it's an agent to your node. Whatever the work that the node has to do, or whatever the request coming and hitting the node, or whatever the response that is coming out of the node, it is done using the node agent. The node agent is an agent to your node. It's a secretary to your node. Clear?
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Shiva.
Or like a mediator. It's taken.
Don't say mediator. Mediator is something, it might be associated, it might not be associated. But node agent is the one that is always associated with a node. It's a secretary, a beautiful secretary to the node.
Okay, if the node agent is not working, so means his node now is correct?
Yes. When my secretary is not available, so what of the communication that my minister wants to do, or what of the communication what my minister wants to get, okay, it can't be possible. Clear? My minister can't come back to me and say that, hey Shiva, you give me a 10% of your 200 crores, I'll sanction the project. He can't say that. Similarly, if the node agent is not available, automatically the node is helpless. Clear?
Okay. Yeah.
Anyone, any questions? Okay. Silence. I'll assume no questions from no questions. Okay. If you don't have any questions, Krishna and Sushma, you can pass on the feedback to the SVR people. And if you're okay, from tomorrow onwards, we'll start 30 minutes early to the today's session. In the Indian Standard Time, we started the session at 7:30 AM. From tomorrow onwards, we'll start it at 7 AM Indian Standard Time. Okay, and guys, since you're all people from the different time zones of yours, please convert it to your convenient time. But we'll start the session 30 minutes early to today's session. Okay, everyone?
Yeah.
Hi Shiva, before you go, I have a question.
Yeah, say please.
I missed the profile part. What do you say about profile?
A profile is nothing but it's a logical grouping of your WebSphere application server resources. The reason why I said logical grouping is that when you're trying to combine the different WebSphere application server resources like your cell, your node agent, and the server, they should make some meaning. They should make they should convey some logical meaning. So the logical grouping of your cell, node agent, and the server is nothing but your profile. When I'm trying to combine the cell, node agent, and the server, I call that one as a profile. Clear? Am I clear, Asif?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
Anyone, any more questions before I end the call?
Yeah, Shiva, this is Sushma.
Yes, Sushma.
I have some generic questions related to this course, and I just want to ask myself if after everyone dropped off.
Oh, okay, cool. So, Sai, can you just stop the recording?